We've got your back. For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The GB News audience is different, it's unique, because they see through the nonsense.
We want to debate with each other, we want to listen and maybe learn.
We have a chat. That's what we do. We try and have a chat.
They'll watch my programme while they're eating their tea, they'll watch breakfast while they're busy getting their kids ready for school.
We want to hear what matters to you, what is news for you.
And what's brought you out here today?
What are the biggest issues affecting this particular area? The audience are the best thing about GB News. They're friends, they're family. They're people who need to have their voices heard.
They're passionate about the channel, they're passionate about what they believe in.
The one thing about GB News is you get a chance to speak.
Talk to me about why so many people have gathered here today.
Do you want to say something back in return? The GB News audience is what makes GB News special.
It's incredible to see.
They shape our programmes, they shape our output, and they shape our channel.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
It's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight. It's an absolute circus in Downing Street.
Is it over for Keir Starmer? Will you ask him to step down, Minister? Has the Prime Minister lost confidence in the Cabinet? Do you have confidence in the Prime Minister?
Keir Starmer is refusing to go, but...
West Streeting, are you measuring the curtains?
Has West Streeting chickened out of the leadership race? Come on, Wes, the clock's ticking. 4 Labour ministers have resigned. Something like 91 Labour MPs have called for Starmer to go. And it wasn't a great day for Sky News.
Should we go and get James Murray? Yeah. Sorry, I'm tethered.
Challenge the Prime Minister.
The coverage on the BBC wasn't much better either.
I think the most significant thing we've heard is Peter Kyle, the business secretary backing the Prime Minister. He's Wes Streeting's best friend in politics. They went and saw The Devil Wears Prada 2 together at the weekend.
Oh, lovely. Oh, and in case you were wondering, yes, all this chaos is tanking the economy. Plus, breaking news from GB News' Bev Turner across the pond.
And politics might be chaos in London, but here in Washington, D.C., it's business as usual. President Trump has flown on Air Force One to China just moments ago. But before he did, I managed to catch him on the phone. I'll tell you what he told me about the situation in the UK. Stay tuned.
Well, on my panel tonight, we have got the Tory MP, Esther McVey, Reform UK's Deputy Leader of Essex County Council is Russell Quirk, and journalist and commentator, Kai Wilshaw. And it was a bad day for this guy.
Shout out to our LGBT community!
Turns out that the leader of the Green Party lives in a £2 million townhouse and might not have paid his council tax. Get ready, Britain, here we go. Breaking, the Labour government. Next.
Good evening. It's just gone 9 o'clock. These are your headlines. Wes Streeting will be meeting with Sir Keir Starmer tomorrow morning. He will reportedly ask the Prime Minister how he plans to get us out of this mess after nearly 100 MPs have called for Starmer to step down. Meanwhile, the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, will not resign from her position and is cracking on with the job, according to her spokesperson. Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy has also been speaking outside Downing Street today, saying the Prime Minister has his full support. It comes as 4 ministers have now resigned from Sir Keir Starmer's government as the Prime Minister fights for his political future. An ally of Wes Streeting, Health Minister Dr Zubair Ahmed, is the latest to quit, while Alex Davies-Jones, Jess Phillips and Miata Fanbula all announced they were quitting today. Sir Keir Starmer is defying the mounting calls for him to leave, telling a meeting of his cabinet earlier that the Labour Party has a process for challenging a leader and that has not been triggered, and insisted he would continue governing. Meanwhile, more than 100 Labour MPs have signed a statement saying this is no time for a leadership contest. Elsewhere, US President Donald Trump has told GB News' Bev Turner he thinks the Prime Minister's 2 biggest problems are energy and immigration. Speaking exclusively in a phone call, he said he advised the Prime Minister to open up your oil in the North Sea and get tough on immigration. Mr Trump has also warned Sir Keir Starmer he is windmilling the country to death and said it was up to the Prime Minister whether or not to quit. Britain will provide drones, jets and a warship to a multinational mission to secure the Strait of Hormuz, according to the UK Defence Minister John Healey. The key shipping route has been effectively closed to most traffic since the end of February, after the US-Israeli strikes on Iran and the subsequent retaliation. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has issued a new warning to Iran as he set off for a state visit to China, saying Iran will either do the right thing or we will finish the job. The US president said he will have a long talk with the Chinese leader about Iran, but doesn't think he needs his help. The head of the World Health Organization has warned that there will be more hantavirus cases. It comes as the last passengers have now disembarked the virus-stricken cruise ship. There are currently 9 confirmed cases and 2 further suspected cases of the virus. Italian authorities have said they are monitoring the condition of a 25-year-old man who is showing symptoms of the hantavirus after he shared a plane seat with one of the 3 people who have died in the outbreak. Those are your latest GB News headlines. Now it's back to Patrick.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Good evening. It's day 2 of Keir Starmer in the bunker. 90 MPs have called for him to resign and 4 ministers have quit, including Jess Phillips. The day started with Housing Minister Miatta Fahnbulleh resigning. Oh no, he's lost Miatta Fahnbulleh. Oh, still reeling from the loss of Miatta Fahnbulleh, Starmer then hosted a very awkward cabinet meeting in Downing Street.
Prime Minister resign, Mr Lammy. Is it over for Keir Starmer? Will you ask him to step down, Mr Lammy? Is it over for Keir Starmer? Will you ask him to step down, Minister? Will you ask the Prime Minister to step down, Minister? Has the Prime Minister lost confidence in the Cabinet? Has the Prime Minister lost the dressing room, Minister? Should the Prime Minister resign, Minister? Should he fight on? Do you have confidence in the Prime Minister? Should he fight on, Minister?
Well, apparently what happened at this cabinet meeting was that Starmer just told them he wasn't resigning, then immediately went into talking about the Strait of Hormuz. So I bet Keir Starmer is actually really glad that Trump went to war with Iran now, isn't he? So after all the resignations, all the negative briefings, all the talk of cabinet walkouts, not a single one of them had the bottle to confront Starmer to his face. It reminds me a bit of this.
Members have decided they have no questions to put to you.
Are you saying they're abdicating their duty to scrutinise me? Are you saying they haven't the guts to put questions to me?
What
Great
is it?
supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
But all eyes were on this man as he went into number 10.
Streeting, do you want to be Prime Minister? Where, Streeting, are you measuring the curtains? Do you want the case to number 10, Mr Streeting?
Now, this is where it gets absolutely hilarious. Apparently, Wes Streeting asked for a private conversation with the Prime Minister after Cabinet, and Keir Starmer refused. So watch what happens here. The Cabinet meeting finishes, and several Cabinet ministers, they come out and they show their support for Keir Starmer to the press.
The party has a process for triggering a leadership election. That has not happened. So we all intend to get on with our jobs, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, the Prime Minister talked about the challenges we face as a country, the crisis in the Middle East, the impact on the cost of living here, and that this government will do what we were elected to do.
The Prime Minister is going to continue with his job, as he should, as the public will expect him to do, and I'm going to continue with mine.
We've had a very purposeful Cabinet meeting talking about the big issues facing our economy and society. Nothing has been triggered. I'm about to go off to Brussels to continue working with Brussels to deepen the relationship, to benefit Britain. We are working hard on the big issues that are facing the country, and Keir is showing really steadfast leadership.
So there you go. What did Wes Streeting do?
Wes Streeting, do you want to be Prime Minister? Will you challenge Keir Starmer? Wes Streeting, do you want the job or not?
Well, come on, Wes. Now's your chance. Are you running or not? Come on, Wes, you big chicken. The clock's ticking, isn't it? It's been non-stop stories about Wes for leader for the last couple of months. He's going to chicken out, isn't he? Then news broke. Andy Burnham, the king in the north. He was on a train from Manchester to London Euston. Would he arrive at Downing Street like this?
Alert my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival.
Then, Jess Phillips resigned. In her letter, she absolutely eviscerated Keir Starmer's character, which is really saying something, because many people think Jess Phillips is incredibly odious. She said that Starmer only reacted to women's issues when there'd been a scandal, implying that he doesn't really care. I think she basically described him as a weak, wet lettuce of a man, that many people think he is. Then, another minister went. Alex Davis-Jones, let's be honest, someone you've never flipping heard of. Then, another minister you've never heard of resigned. Health Minister Zubair Ahmed quit. Rachel Reeves was supposed to be doing a big interview today. She cancelled it, which is just as well, because the economy is absolutely tanking. Borrowing costs hit the highest rate since 1998. Keir Starmer was supposed to meet with union leaders today. That meeting was cancelled just hours before it was scheduled to take place. He did, however, find time to visit a technical college to talk about apprenticeships. Prime Minister, he should have gone to the job centre instead. So we know What we know is this. Rayner, Streeting and Burnham are rumoured to be vying to take Starmer's job. Then this afternoon, another player entered the game. Al Carnes, ex-Royal Marine Commando, member of the elite Special Boat Service, the SBS. The Times reported that he was rallying the troops for a leadership bid. Then this evening, David Lammy piped up to support Starmer.
He has my full support, and what I'd say to colleagues is, look, let's just step back, take a breath. Let's remember that we have the King's Speech. We are in government to do a job of work. It's been 24 hours now, and nobody has come forward to put themselves forward in the processes that exist in the party.
Yeah, good stuff. And then, just a few hours ago, the news broke that Wes Streeting will hold emergency talks with Sir Keir Starmer in Downing Street tomorrow. According to The Times, he will ask the Prime Minister how he plans to, quote, get us out of this mess. And there was still time for some more breaking news, another twist in the tale. Just minutes before I came on air, breaking news from The Times, Ed Miliband has told Cabinet Ministers that he is prepared to run for the Labour leadership if Wes Streeting triggers an imminent contest. I mean, this claim was categorically denied by Miliband, but two senior government sources said that Miliband did tell Cabinet colleagues that he would be prepared to stand as the soft left, yeah, you heard that right, the soft left's candidate to stop Streeting from getting into number 10. So look, here we are tonight. Starmer's clinging on. Everyone wants him to go. He won't listen to reason. He's sitting in Downing Street, stroking Larry the cat, muttering, my dad's a toolmaker. Yeah, we might need Al Carnes' special set of military skills after all, because how long before Downing Street ends up looking like this? Well, we can go live now to Downing Street with GB News' national reporter, Will Godley. And, Will, there has been some developments, hasn't there, in the last hour or so involving Miliband, I believe. So go on, what's the latest?
Absolutely, Patrick. Yeah, it's a busy night here in Downing Street. Reporters not just from UK media but around the world all wondering whether the Prime Minister has managed to fend off a leadership challenge for now or not. And staffers inside number 10 clearly in for another busy, long night. The lights remain on, as does the lights in the Prime Minister's flat above number 11. You have to wonder what he might be thinking this evening. He is going to be meeting with the Health Secretary tomorrow, the Health Secretary who is seen as one of the main leadership rivals. Is he, Wes Streeting, going to be telling the Prime Minister he has enough support from Labour MPs to mount a leadership challenge and start the firing pistol on a leadership challenge, or not? Well, only Wes Streeting knows the answer to that. But what has been reported is that the Health Secretary will discuss the turbulence currently facing the Labour Party and is due to ask the Prime Minister how he plans on getting the party out of the mess it finds itself in. But if the Health Secretary does end up launching a leadership battle, well, who is he going to be in battle with? Well, Ed Miliband this evening, it's been reported, has been talking to Cabinet Ministers, fellow Cabinet Ministers, telling them he's prepared to stand should Wes Streeting launch an imminent leadership battle. And it's also, we've also heard this afternoon from sources in the Angela Rayner camp. They've spoken to reporters saying she's ready to mount a leadership challenge should an imminent one come underway. An imminent challenge, though, would not be what Andy Burnham wants. Of course, he needs enough time to find a seat in Westminster in order to stand and place himself into this leadership challenge. But it's been reported this evening that sources inside the building behind me are growing increasingly confident that they think the Prime Minister has fended off any leadership challenges for now.
Well, Will, thank you very much. Going to catch up with Will Godley later on this evening. So let's get to my panel. I'm going to start with the Tory MP, Esther McVey. So what do you make of today's goings-on, Esther?
It's an absolute car crash, total chaos. And it seems only right that the collapse of this government is chaos, just like they've ruled the country for the last 2 years in absolute chaos. The guy is finished. It is over. I remember watching it. It's so, you know, it's just the same as whether it was Theresa May, Boris Johnson. When it's over, it's over. He's clinging on. You can hear that as he's clinging onto the banister in 10 Downing Street, but it's over. And I looked at the timing and the process and whether that was a vote of no confidence in the individual, a vote then of no confidence in the House, whether it was Conservative associations coming forward. And it took Theresa May about 5 months for it to end. It took Boris Johnson really only 2 months for it to end. I think Starmer's been clinging on for way too long, because you might go back really to maybe the time when Morgan McSweeney stood down in February. You could go down before that when Mandelson resigned back in September. No work is being done in government now, and it's for his pathological vanity, an ego the size of a town. He just wants to stay in number 10. No work is being done.
Just on that, sorry, before I go to this, because that is actually a really vital point, because you were in Parliament today, weren't you? And it's important that people understand that whilst this is going on, nothing is happening for the running of the country.
So people will be looking at whether it's the FTSE 100 collapsing, whether it's the gilt and borrowing costs soaring, the pound weakening. But actually, if you think all those ministers have resigned, if you think MPs are all talking in a huddle doing nothing, but most importantly, the ministers have gone, that means they're doing no work. It means the civil service are doing no work. The country's doing no work. I wanted to... I've been doing lots of work with the Justice Secretary, who's now gone, the Victims Minister, Alex Davis-Jones. She's now gone. All the work I was trying to do with the constituent, whose daughter was brutally and savagely killed, is not happening now.
It's so depressing. So depressing. Well, Russell, look, I mean... can he seriously cling on? I mean, the idea of Ed Miliband potentially entering the game tonight?
I've been off air for a few weeks, Patrick. It's delightful to come back tonight for this pantomime, which it is, and actually an embarrassment. I think an embarrassment to the government, an embarrassment to the country. I'm not quite sure what's worse. You know, this kind of... thing that is hard to flush, should we say, in Keir Starmer, or his acolytes that obviously are clinging on by their fingernails to their ministerial cars and their £145,000 a year salaries in a vain attempt to try and prop him up. The Steve Reeds, the Patrick McFaddens. I mean, it's embarrassing. That's actually almost as embarrassing as Keir Starmer. And where are the cabinet ministers, the proper cabinet ministers that surely should be resigning right now if they had any iota of integrity? Bearing in mind this is, of course, a government, a front bench that only about 22 months ago said, country first, party second. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, go on, Kai. Do you think you're free? Do you think you're cling on?
To do, right? Look, it's a difficult job being here on a night like this, right?
I do envy you. You can have all the money on.
Yeah. We'll give it a shot, Russell. Yeah. To be generous to these people, and I think what distinguishes the process that we're seeing right now compared to what we've seen in the past is I do genuinely see how each of the different camps do believe they have the country's what the country needs at their heart, at their core. Keir Starmer and many of the cabinet do think that this is not the time because of the war in Iran, because of the turmoil in the bond markets, that moving against the Prime Minister is the wrong thing. And so they're not, you say, they're clinging on
but most of these
to hold on to their ministerial cars. Is that fair, Russell?
Yes, it is.
Is that fair? These are people who have dedicated themselves...
Because a lot of the problems that have been caused by the Keir Starmer administration would be solved by somebody else coming in as a Prime Minister, probably. But hang on, herein lies the other problem, of course. Most of these individuals on the Labour front bench know the reason there's a little bit of hesitance by way of cabinet is because actually there is no one that can really replace him. They're scared of who comes like
I also think, can I just say the sort of difference between Theresa May was dealing with a massive issue known as Brexit and she didn't have a majority. Boris Johnson was dealing with a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic nobody had ever seen before, then the war in Ukraine and energy prices surge. Starmer has dealt with nothing except for his own incompetence and he's been unable to govern the country, starting with the winter fuel payments and U-turn after U-turn. That is the difference. That's why he's got to go. He is absolutely incompetent. He is not fit to govern this country.
No, look, I don't think he should stay. I've said it many times on this channel. I've been saying for ages he should go. However, I can see why he's trying to keep his hand on the tiller because he believes that he's the right man, that he's won that massive mandate, and that he, on the international stage, is doing good work.
I
can see it.
believe that.
So to characterise it as a man clinging on to power and to give him his ministers ministerial cards is nonsense.
You've got to be the most cloth-eared politician in history that's buried in the ground if you don't take note of what your own MPs, your own cabinet, the media, and of course, I mean, how many prime ministers have we had that when he goes to a football match and walks down the street, there's a particularly famous song that is sung about.
By the way,
you have to be an idiot not to know that you're the most unpopular prime minister in history.
And when you're in the House, because all votes are voted through by your MPs, that's all you've got to worry about. If you don't have your MPs, that's why it's a vote of no confidence. They have no confidence. You cannot get your work through. So let's see if he even gets his King's speech through next week.
Well, let's see. I mean, apparently, we'll talk about this a bit later on, but apparently the King's representatives actually called up Downing Street today to say, are we still on, lads? Are we still on? Because it looks like...
Check it out the
no, I'm not sure if you... Anyway, there's loads to guys now. And actually, the next segment ties in perfectly with what we've been saying here, because what kind of man could possibly cling on in this particular setting? Which is why we're going to be talking to a behavioural psychologist to analyse Keir Starmer's inner workings. But before that, I need to tell you about the Great British Giveaway. It's loads of cash. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
Are you dreaming of a ton of tax-free cash this summer? We want to make that dream come true with a stunning £76,543 and 21 pence in cash to spend however you like. That is extra cash that you could use to buy those treats you've always wanted, put a new car on the drive, or just relax in the knowledge that this year we've got your back. £76,543 and 21 pence is an incredible amount of money, and it could be all yours. For a chance to win £76,543 and 21 pence in tax-free cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, loads coming your way, including this.
And I take responsibility for not walking away, not plunging our country into chaos as the Tories did time and again, chaos that did lasting damage to this country.
The most remarkable thing is that Keir Starmer ploughed on today like nothing was happening. He said that he'd speak to Conserve ministers one-on-one, then he didn't. The Prime Minister is digging his heels in, refusing to back down. So I want to know what's going on in his head. Body language expert Judy James joins me to discuss that in just a few minutes' time. Let's psychoanalyse the PM.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
We can allow.
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Is it over for Keir Starmer? Will you ask him to step down, Minister? Has the Prime Minister lost confidence in the Cabinet? Do you have confidence in the Prime Minister?
Well, it's been an absolute circus all day at Downing Street, hasn't it? I'll have the blow-by-blow account very shortly. But before that, tonight, the Labour Party's obviously in turmoil. The Prime Minister, remarkably, is refusing to step down, despite growing pressure for him to resign. 4 government ministers, led by Jess Phillips, have resigned in protest today. Nearly 90 MPs have called for him to go, but behind closed doors, the embattled Prime Minister reportedly attempted to just carry on with business as usual today. He had his weekly meeting of the Cabinet, where he reportedly, 1, refused to discuss the election fallout or questions over his leadership, 2, told senior ministers to approach him individually if they wanted to discuss his future, 3, then backtracked when they did and refused to engage with those same ministers when they attempted to do exactly that. The last time the public heard from Starmer was during yesterday's survival speech.
I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I've got some doubters, including in my own party. And I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I have to prove them wrong, and I will. And I take responsibility for not walking away, not plunging our country into chaos, as the Tories did time and again, chaos that did lasting damage to this country.
So what I want to know is, what kind of man is our Prime Minister psychologically, really, clinging on desperately behind barricaded doors? What does it say about our Prime Minister? And joining us now is body language expert at the Mail Online, Judy James. Judy, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you very, very much. Can you kind of analyse our Prime Minister here, really? I don't know how he's clinging on and what's going on in his head.
I mean, it's really weird, and I was listening to your show tonight. It's a kind of a counterintuitive effect that we're listening to Game of Thrones, aren't we? You know, this battle in warfare goes on, and then this very dull character comes out. In fact, most of them are present as quite dull characters, and I think it's probably he's clinging on to the immense dullness because it might make people go away. I think one of the things that we got from his speech yesterday, and that we see and hear a lot from him, is that for him, being right is almost like a religion. He uses the phrase a lot, it was the right thing to do. He rolls his R's when he said it. He kind of huffs as though he's blowing out a birthday candle. He never says, I think it was the right thing to do. He has a deep, deep belief in things being totally right. And I think that's when we look at his body language here. That's what he believes now. What he's doing for him is the right thing to do. And there are no grey areas for him as far as that's concerned. So clinging on by his fingernails would be a sign of his rightness. It would have come from his previous career, obviously, when he had to prove points, make his points. He had to be right in that career. And I think he's kind of brought that into the job of Prime Minister. And
when you look at him, Judy, sorry, but when you look at him, you know, in the interactions that we see of him all the time, and in that clip of the speech we played before, do you think he's a man who needs to be told how to act human?
Yes, but it doesn't work. I don't think that's within his range. He looks like a man to me who's actually scared of allowing people to maybe see the real him. I don't think we'll ever see it. This has to be prompted by a degree of fear that if you look at all his gesticulation, he was using it there, he's using a precision pinch. The voice becomes very dull, very Dalek-like. It's as though that's got to be right as well. Whereas for most of us, we allow little wrong moments. We don't try to be too right. We like to be natural. But for him, that seems to be an option that he cannot let the public see that version of him.
And tomorrow, he is supposedly meeting with Wes Streeting. Actually, he might meet with Ed as well, but with Wes Streeting, the man who is rumoured to be desperate for his job, the bloke who everyone is thinking is going to, at some point tomorrow, probably launch a leadership challenge to the Prime Minister. So he ignored him today. So what do you make, firstly, of the fact that he is apparently trying to just carry on as business as usual today, you know, despite the ongoing bonfire that's taking place in Downing Street, ignoring it at Cabinet, ignoring his Cabinet colleagues? And then how do you expect him psychologically to deal with the fact that tomorrow the bloke who wants his job is going to come into Downing Street and talk to him?
I think, again, it's that blinkered vision. And funnily enough, we're watching the king of that. I was around when Gordon Brown was on the throne and trying to get him off the throne. Again, he just ignored it. He pretended it wasn't happening. He refused to bend. He refused to worry about it. If you don't look at it, you kind of get this line of vision where you don't actually see what's really going on. You only see what you believe to be the right. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's got it into his head now that for the country, it's genuinely the best option for him to be there, that's the right thing to do. And that anything else is probably just kind of background noise. He's probably clinging to that Donald Trump sort of, you know, everything else is just white noise. I don't need to listen to it. And I think he almost will be wearing blinkers to get through all this. But at the end of those blinkers will be, no, this is me doing exactly the right thing because I believe I'm the only person that can save the country. And if you heard Patrick when he started his speech yesterday, it was read like a horror story. All the awful things that were happening in the world right now, all the things we need to be afraid of. And after he delivered that, he leant forward on the lectern in a much more conspiratorial tone, a much more friendly, kindly parent tone, to really much explain that he was the only thing that stood between that fate and you know, that kind of end of the world fate. So I think he actually believes that, which is. And
you don't think, just very lastly, Judy, sorry, and very quickly, do you think this will actually be affecting him, or do you genuinely get the impression that this is a man that is just so psychologically switched off to kind of human emotion that he won't actually be losing sleep over this?
No, because we've seen him in Prime Minister's questions with his hand shaking. Before he gave his speech yesterday, we could see his using a self-soothe, self-comfort gesture. So when he's not performing, we do get a lot of signs of inner nerves, inner turmoil, I think. And that's the worry. When you're presenting a different persona, that becomes a lot of internal pressure on you.
Because it's an act. Judy, look, thank you. Really, really great stuff there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. It's Judy James there, who is the body language expert at the Mail Online. Just fascinating, isn't it? Because I know a lot of people, you know, thinking, how on earth can this guy carry on, really? What's going on upstairs? But in other news, we've got a bit of this.
Wes Streeting, are you measuring the curtains?
Right then, so, Wes Streeting. Has he chickened out of challenging the Prime Minister for that leadership role? He's going to be meeting the PM tomorrow. I'm going to find out what they're going to say to each other next.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
A few showers are possible in Madeira and the Canaries over the next couple of days. Some wet weather affecting southern parts of Italy. Plenty of sunshine for Greece and Turkey through the rest of this week. Some warmth here as well. There's that showery rain across southern Italy, still lingering into Thursday too. The odd shower drifting south towards the Balearics. Most of southern Spain dry and sunny. And as I mentioned, the chance of 1 or 2 showers in Madeira on Wednesday. And we'll see more showers, I think, arriving in Croatia for Friday and the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Lots of showers to come as we go through the next 24 hours and a bit of thunder and some strong gusty winds perhaps towards the west as well. Currently there is a front that's making its way southwards across the country. It's brought a bit of cloud, a bit of rain, but also cooler, fresher air across the bulk of the country. And so as a result, we start the night across England and Wales with clear skies, so it's going to turn quite chilly. But as the showers in the north become more widespread, we see the winds picking up a little bit. We're actually going to see temperatures lifting a little bit. So first thing tomorrow morning, for many, it's not going to be quite as chilly as it has been through some recent starts. Nonetheless, in some places it could be a bit fresh, a bit cool, for example, across some parts of Scotland. Temperatures may drop low enough for a touch of frost. But the big talking point will be the fact that there are going to be so many showers around. Plenty of blustery showers towards the northwest, frequent showers across many other places, some of them falling as sleet or snow over higher ground. Showers across parts of Northern Ireland, much of England and Wales. Some of them will be heavy, some of them could turn thundery as we go through the day, especially towards eastern parts. And whilst there will be some drier, even brighter weather in between, sunshine is going to be pretty limited. Now, as we go through the day, we are going to see winds strengthening, particularly down the western side of the country. So watch out for some blustery conditions here, also around parts of the southwest. And those blustery winds will make it feel cool at times, especially seeing that temperatures are down a few degrees compared to today for many of us. More showery weather to come as we go through the next few days. So Thursday's also looking quite showery. Perhaps inland areas seeing fewer showers, but many coastal parts towards the west are seeing plenty of them, and the showers becoming a bit more widespread really as we go through the day. Friday may be a drier day for many of us, and we stick with that drier theme at least to the start of the weekend, and temperatures should rise a bit as well.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome back, and there really is only one story in town tonight, isn't there? How much longer can the Prime Minister cling on? But rewind to this morning, yeah, it seems like a long time ago, and all eyes were on Wes Streeting amid speculation he was about to challenge Starmer for the leadership. A fast contest would suit the Health Secretary, as it would prevent Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham from standing because he wouldn't have time to get back into the House of Commons via a by-election. It was against this backdrop that Streeting walked into Downing Street this morning for the government's weekly cabinet meeting, at which he was widely expected to tell the Prime Minister to go.
Streeting, do you want to be Prime Minister? Where's Streeting? Are you measuring the curtains? Do you want the keys to number 10, Mr. Streeting?
But then he left Downing Street stony-faced after the PM dug his heels in. Starmer apparently told the Cabinet he would not discuss the elections or his leadership. Ploughing on, we're talking about things like the Strait of Hormuz. Streeting reportedly attempted to speak to him after the meeting ended, but he wasn't allowed to. However, breaking news in The Times suggests this evening that actually Wes Streeting is set for a showdown with Starmer before the King's speech tomorrow morning. He's going to ask the PM how he plans to, quote, get us out of this mess. We've got my panel back with me. And Esther, I'm going to start with you. You think Wes has blown it, don't you?
I totally think he has. And I think he did that a couple of months ago. He's never quite seized the moment, and there has been many moments where he could. So much so that I've spoken to people who were supporters of his, who are no longer supporters of his. It's a lot of numbers. You've got to get 81. And if people are peeling away, that will be very difficult to get back. And I think he's proved he hasn't quite got either the timing, the killer instinct, the ability to do it, the confidence in it, or the vanity of the man thinks, oh, now isn't the right moment. Remember, it was never quite the right moment. They'd wait until the local elections had happened. It wasn't quite the right moment because something else can happen, and it isn't now. So I think he's blown it.
Or he's just a coward. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Well, that's what she's saying, isn't it?
Or the vanity is there's a better time, and if I come in, I'll be a knight in shining armour, or it'll be easier.
Well, look, and we all know how the horse trading ensues in situations like this. Maybe he just hasn't offered enough to, existing cabinet members in terms of his cabinet, should he be elected, in order for them to go. I mean, it's as simple as that, isn't it? It's not about talent. It seems it's about horse trading and,
you'll be Chancellor, you'll be Home Secretary.
Well, but the thing is, though, Kyle, I wonder if he just now knows he just hasn't got the numbers.
No, I think he has the numbers. I think anybody watching the news today and yesterday sort of can tell that he has the numbers. Some of the people coming out, they're Wes supporters. What I think has happened is that he's really scared of being that person to wield the knife. And I think, particularly with him, it's maybe about... There's something about his reputation that might mean that being the first person to move makes people think, oh, I knew maybe he was a slimy one.
It's almost as if 3 or 4 junior ministers that no one's ever heard of aren't enough
Well,
to
I think
move
that
this thing on.
There's plenty more where that came
things. You might have 81, but have you got 200 or 300 against you, there's a problem.
Yeah.
You don't have the numbers, and you will be booted out. The next thing was very close friend of Mandelson, and just when he thought he could have, the Mandelson saga blew up, and now he knows maybe he's missed his moment.
All right. Well, let's go now to the political editor of HuffPost UK. It's Kevin Schofield. Kevin, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I know you had an incredibly busy day. So, look, has Wes blown it?
It's starting to look that way. I mean, I've heard as well chatter tonight that he doesn't have the numbers, that he's actually lost numbers. These people who he'd lost pledges over the last 24 hours or so. I think because of the way he's behaved or has been perceived to have behaved. We've had all these West Streeting allies, MPs, calling on the Prime Minister to resign. We've had ministers, one of whom was a former ministerial aide, was a junior minister in the Health Department to West Streeting. He resigned. So a lot of people think Wes is trying to perform a coup by the back door almost, rather than be seen to be challenging the Prime Minister.
What's he possibly going to say to the PM
himself.
tomorrow, though, Kevin? This is the thing. So he's going to go there before the King's speech tomorrow morning. They're going to have this meeting. It's all eyes on Downing Street tomorrow. Is there a chance, seriously, that Wes emerges from that door and speaks to the press and goes, you know what, this guy in there, he hasn't got the answers. It's Wes for leader?
No, there's absolutely no chance of that. His team have made it clear that he's not going to say anything afterwards because he doesn't want to overshadow the King's speech, which takes place tomorrow morning. So he's going in for this meeting. We're not entirely sure what he's going to say, but I dare say he'll want to hear answers from the Prime Minister about how he plans to turn things around, what his vision for leadership is. But we're not going to see a dramatic Michael Heseltine style walking out and resigning in the middle of Downing Street. We may well find out more later in the day, but as things stand at the moment, from people I'm speaking to, I think there's a feeling that West Streeting's chance has perhaps passed them by.
And the other breaking news about an hour or so ago was that Ed Miliband's entered the fray. He said that he will run, or sources close to anyway, have said that he will run if Streeting goes. I mean, what do you make of that? I mean, are we going to be mad for Miliband?
I'm not sure we're going to be mad for Miliband, but yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a feeling that if West, and it's a big if now, if West Streeting was to stand, those on the soft left of the party would not allow him to have a coronation. So if Angela Rayner, for instance, decides not to do it, and Andy Burnham isn't an MP at the time, then there needs to be some sort of challenger from that wing of the party, and it may well be Ed Miliband. And I think if it was to go to the party membership, then Ed Miliband would probably win. So that's another consideration, I think, for West Streeting, that he knows that he'd find it difficult to beat anyone on the soft left of the party.
Just very quickly, Kevin, sorry, pressed for time. Any idea what Andy Burnham said when he met some of the Labour MPs today after he got the train up or down?
No, I mean, his team have been playing their cards very close to their chest as well. There's continual talk that he has a seat lined up, but I'm told it's not going to be imminent, any announcement. I think he's just been trying to look for support, find out exactly what numbers he's got behind him, especially if it looks like West Streeting is now struggling.
Wow, Kevin, thank you very much. Kevin Schofield, the political editor at HuffPost UK. Well, look, coming up at 10 p.m.
Is it over for Keir Starmer? Will you ask him to step down, Minister? Has the Prime Minister lost confidence?
Well, I'm going to have the blow-by-blow account of another chaotic day in Westminster, and apparently Keir Starmer has just made some appointments. So we're going to be talking about who he's appointed to what, but before that, borrowing costs soared to their highest since 1998. They've surpassed the highs that we saw when Liz Truss was toppled as Prime Minister. So look, for all of the kind of comedy show that we're seeing here, it's having a real-world effect. It's having a real-world effect on your bank account. We're going to talk about that next.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here.
GB News, Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Morris dancing, a centuries-old English tradition passed down through the generations. Decked in bells, ribbons and creative costumes, Morris dancers leap and twirl to the beat. During the Maybank holiday, the folk dancing is performed in towns and villages across the country. At Poole Village Hall in West Yorkshire, the Great Yorkshire Morris team are practising their steps.
It's part of the thread of our culture. When I started in 1976, there were only about 3 Morris teams in York, the whole of Yorkshire. And we went to a village, the general reaction then was, oh, look at these funny men who were there. We want to keep the traditions alive. We enjoy the practice as much as dancing out. We do collect money and we've got to pay our expenses for the practice hall, but any of the surplus money goes to charities.
Once rooted in ancient fertility rites, Morris dancing now brings people together in music, movement and community. There are more than 12,500 Morris dancers around Britain in single-sex and mixed sides, all keeping the genre going.
The sort of gear that I'm wearing for is, apart from the Yorkshire flat cap, this is fairly traditional Cotswold Morris gear. Great Yorkshire Morris do Cotswold. We also do Border Morris, which is from the borders between Wales and England. We also do Longsword, which is a Yorkshire tradition.
A living cultural practice with deep historical ties and regional diversity, Morris dancing is here to stay. Anna Riley, GB News, Poole in Wharfdale.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Well, amidst the ongoing psychodrama, it's actually Britain's borrowing costs and the economy that are absolutely knackered. So borrowing costs today skyrocketed to their highest level since 1998. The yield on 30-year gilts, which are the benchmark for borrowing costs, jumped to just over 5.8% this morning as the value of the pound fell by 0.6% against the dollar as markets reacted to this chaos in Westminster, which means the big loser in all this ultimately is you, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. For context, the yield on 10-year gilts surged from 3.3% to 4.5% in September 2022 when Liz Truss unveiled a series of unfunded tax cuts. Turmoil that, as we all know, eventually cost her her premiership. But meanwhile, Chancellor Rachel Reeves, well, she cancelled a planned appearance at a London conference earlier today. The Treasury blamed diary changes, but that will have done little to reassure investors. So look, I don't want to get too technical here, but I want someone who can clear up this mess for us, and it's Angela Knight, who's the former Economic Secretary to the Treasury. Angela, thank you so much. Look, for all of the kind of Mickey-taking that we're doing tonight, and I think you have to laugh because otherwise you'll cry, how bad is this for our economy? How bad is this for my viewers and my listeners?
Well, it's not good. I mean, you've just talked about the increase in the 30-year gilts. Well, let's put that into English. It's actually the 10-year that's the important one. So how much is it costing government now to borrow money, which is what this means? And the answer is it's more or less around 5%. And that is big. You put the 30-year up, it's the 10-year that's important. So here we are with inflation under 4%. We've got base rate under 4%, but actually government's having to pay 5%. And that is going to mean not only is it going to take up much more of the budget, you know, what government spends, and so that's going to put pressure yet again on other services. But importantly, this is what gets used for lending to ourselves. So this is going to impact mortgages unless it changes quickly. It's going to impact borrowing to business. It's got a very widespread impact on the economy. So yes, it is not clever what is happening, but as you can see, the rate has been rising for some time because the actual business confidence and markets confidence in this government has not been good for a very considerable period of time.
So just to be clear, is this worse than when Liz Truss got the boot?
Yes.
Right.
In a word, it is.
Okay.
I mean, Liz Truss was there for whatever it was, 45 days. Had a big disaster. She was a big disaster, but the whole thing recovered quite quickly. This has been a steady worsening over the past couple of years. The markets just think that the plans that government has got is all about borrowing money to spend. It's not about things like, you know, cutting public expenditure, getting a better balance in there. There's worries about industry. As the cost of industry goes up, we've got energy costs highest of the Western world, developed nations, and there's nothing about addressing those. Now, if you want growth, you've got to get supporting into or stop penalising those who create growth. That's not there. What about controlling spending? That's not there. What's happening in the political, directly in the political environment? They seem to be arguing all over the toss. And, you know, Rachel Reeves, it's understandable why she ducked out of a meeting today. But can I say that's a very great pity? Because what you need to do is you need to face it and talk about it and be clear about it if you want confidence back in yourself. And that hasn't happened.
Just quickly, Angela. So we've had, I've lost count now. I think what is it, 6 prime ministers in 7 years, something like that. I mean, there is a sense that we are now ungovernable as a country. Is that having an impact?
Yes, it will be doing, but at the same time, it's us and quite a lot of other countries are deemed to be in a very similar situation, where, if you like, the people and the politics are not in the same place. So Metz is having trouble in Germany. You can all know just how badly Macron is faring in France. In Italy, the government went over to a populist government, and they seem to be doing quite well. There's discontent in Spain. There's discontent in just about every country I can possibly think of, who I would call almost a classic Western democracy. And that is one of the consequences of what happened when we locked down for too long, borrowed too much money, have now got a big debt, expectations of people for spending, but not having to pay their taxes, and the problem is increasing.
Angela, real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. That's Angela Knight, though, the former Economic Secretary to the Treasury. Look, I didn't want to, you know, make you all too miserable this evening, but it's important that we get stuck into that because this affects you at home, your mortgages, your business lending, everything. Anyway, look, coming up later on, or just next, actually, we have got a blow-by-blow account of another chaotic day in Westminster. How much longer can the PM really cling on? Plus, you're going to want to see all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages, and we've got them before anyone else.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Lots of showers to come as we go through the next 24 hours, and bit of thunder and some strong gusty winds perhaps towards the west as well. Currently there is a front that's making its way southwards across the country. It's brought a bit of cloud, a bit of rain, but also cooler, fresher air across the bulk of the country. And so as a result, we start the night across England and Wales with clear skies, so it's going to turn quite chilly. But as the showers in the north become more widespread, we see the winds picking up a little bit. We're actually going to see temperatures lifting a little bit. So first thing tomorrow morning, for many, it's not going to be quite as chilly as it has been through some recent starts. Nonetheless, in some places it could be a bit fresh, a bit cool, for example, across some parts of Scotland. Temperatures may drop low enough for a touch of frost. But the big talking point will be the fact that there are going to be so many showers around. Plenty of blustery showers towards the northwest, frequent showers across many other places, some of them falling as sleet or snow over higher ground. Showers across parts of Northern Ireland, much of England and Wales. Some of them will be heavy, some of them could turn thundery as we go through the day, especially towards eastern parts. And whilst there will be some drier, even brighter weather in between, sunshine is going to be pretty limited. Now, as we go through the day, we are going to see winds strengthening, particularly down the western side of the country. So watch out for some blustery conditions here, also around parts of the southwest. And those blustery winds will make it feel cool at times, especially seeing that temperatures are down a few degrees compared to today for many of us. More showery weather to come as we go through the next few days. So Thursday's also looking quite showery. Perhaps inland areas seeing fewer showers, but many coastal parts towards the west are seeing plenty of them, and the showers becoming a bit more widespread really as we go through the day. Friday may be a drier day for many of us, and we stick with that drier theme at least to the start of the weekend, and temperatures should rise a bit as well.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
£76,543 and 21 pence in tax-free cash could be yours this summer. That's totally tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. And remember, because it's totally tax-free cash, you'll get to keep every single penny. For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From cold mornings
to warm family brunches.
From football to tennis in the car.
In the kitchen.
GB News Breakfast is there. With the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it? We're here again. To start your day just right. GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight. It's an absolute circus in Downing Street.
Is it over for Keir Starmer? Will you ask him to step down, Minister? Has the Prime Minister lost confidence in the Cabinet? Do you have confidence in the Prime Minister?
Keir Starmer is refusing to go, but...
Wes Streeting, are you measuring the curtains?
Wes is due to meet him tomorrow. Has he chickened out of the leadership race? Come on, Wes, the clock's ticking, mate. The clock's ticking. 4 Labour ministers have resigned today. Just shy of 90 Labour MPs have now called for Starmer to go. And it wasn't a great day for Sky News.
Should we go and get James Murray? Yep. Sorry, I'm tethered.
Challenge the Prime Minister.
The coverage on the BBC wasn't much better either.
I think the most significant thing we've heard is Peter Kyle, the business secretary backing the Prime Minister. He's Wes Streeting's best friend in politics. They went and saw The Devil Wears Prada 2 together at the weekend.
They went to The Devil Wears Prada 2 together at the weekend. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yes, all this chaos is tanking the economy and costing you money. Plus, GB News' very own Bev Turner has got this scoop from across the pond.
Politics might be chaos in London, but here in Washington, D.C., it's business as usual. President Trump has flown on Air Force One to China just moments ago. But before he did, I managed to catch him on the phone. I'll tell you what he told me about the situation in the UK. Stay tuned.
And you are going to want to see all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. Here is a sneak peek. The breaking news on the front page of tomorrow's Independent. Starmer faces down Cabinet and clings on, but for how long? On my panel tonight, we have got Tory MP Esther McVeigh, Reform UK's Deputy Leader of Essex County Council Russell Quirk, and journalist and commentator Kai Wilshaw. And in all the noise, we've forgotten about this. It's been a bad day for this guy. Turns out that Zach Polanski lives in a £2 million townhouse and might not have paid his council tax. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Surely it's curtains for Keir. Next.
Good evening. It's just gone 10 o'clock. Your top stories this hour. Wes Streeting will be meeting with Sir Keir Starmer tomorrow morning. He will reportedly ask the Prime Minister how he plans to get us out of this mess after 4 cabinet ministers stepped down and more than 80 MPs called for Sir Keir to quit. Meanwhile, the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, will not resign from her position and is cracking on with the job. That's according to her spokesperson. Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy has also been speaking outside Downing Street today, saying the Prime Minister has his full support. Sir Keir Starmer is defying mounting calls for him to quit, telling a meeting of his cabinet earlier he would continue governing. Meanwhile, more than 100 Labour MPs have signed a statement saying this is not the time for a leadership contest. Elsewhere, US President Donald Trump has told GB News' Bev Turner he thinks the Prime Minister's 2 biggest problems are energy and immigration. Speaking exclusively in a phone call, he said he advised the Prime Minister to open up our oil in the North Sea and get tough on immigration. Mr Trump has also warned Sir Keir Starmer he is windmilling the country to death and said it was up to the Prime Minister whether or not to quit. Britain will provide drones, jets and warships to a multinational mission to secure the Strait of Hormuz, according to the UK Defence Minister John Healey. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has issued a new warning to Iran as he set off for a state visit to China, saying Iran will either do the right thing or we will finish the job. The US president said he will have a long talk with the Chinese leader about Iran, but doesn't think he needs his help. A man has been shot dead by police after presenting a weapon during an armed standoff in Bedford. The force confirmed it was initially called to reports of a vehicle being damaged in Aylesbury Road at about 10:40 p.m. on Monday. And despite sustained efforts, the man presented a weapon before police fired at about 9:30 a.m. this morning. The police watchdog has now launched an investigation. 10 Britons who got off the hantavirus-hit cruise ship on a remote Atlantic island before the outbreak was known will now be flown 5,000 miles back to the UK to isolate here instead. It comes as 20 British nationals from the MV Hondia ship who've been isolating at the former COVID quarantine hospital in Arrow Park on the Wirral are now preparing to leave the facility. Those are the latest GB News headlines. Now it's back to Patrick.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Roll up, the Labour Party circus is in town.
We all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is sorry about that. A very important document. A little windy out here. Give me that. 6-7.
The day started with a cabinet meeting.
Prime Minister resign, Mr. Lammy. Is it over for Keir Starmer? Is it all over, Mr. Will you ask him to step down, Mr. Lammy? Is it over for Keir Starmer? Will you ask him to step down, Minister? Will you ask the Prime Minister to step down, Minister? Has the Prime Minister...
All eyes were on Wes Streeting.
Streeting, do you want to be Prime Minister? Wes Streeting, are you measuring the curtains? Do you want the case to number 10, Mr. Streeting?
So they went in. They've had a kicking at the local elections. At that time, nearly 90 Labour MPs and 4 ministerial aides had already quit or said they wanted the Prime Minister to go. And apparently 4 cabinet ministers had a chat with Starmer yesterday evening and said, look, come on, mate, let's get this over with. So what does Starmer do?
I am not listening.
Yes, apparently he refused to talk to any of them about the unfolding disaster. A man in total denial. We've got a picture here now, actually, of Keir Starmer at that cabinet meeting. I think we can take it. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there he is. And you can just hear the muffled screams of, everything's fine, I've got a mandate for change, coming out of the sand there as he buries his head in it. Some cabinet ministers came out and backed him.
The party has a process for triggering a leadership election. That has not happened, so we all intend to get on with our jobs, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, the Prime Minister talked about the challenges we face as a country, the crisis in the Middle East, the impact on the cost of living here, and that this government will do what we were elected to do.
But it's fair to say that some others did not.
Wes Streeting, do you want to be Prime Minister? Will you challenge Keir Starmer? Wes Streeting, do you want the job or not?
Then, comically, a website emerged, Wes for Leader. Now, apparently that's just someone taking the mickey, or is it? Who knows? Then, 4 ministers resigned. Miata Fambula, we've got Jess Phillips, Alex Davies-Jones, Zubair Ahmed. Then a total of 92 Labour MPs have now called for him to go. 92. And then it turned out that Andy Burnham, the king in the north, was on a train from Manchester to London Euston. It's like Peter Odemwingie driving from West Brom to QPR on transfer deadline day, isn't it? We've actually got footage now of Andy Burnham on that train. Yeah, I mean, that's what the public saw, but here's how Andy Burnham actually viewed himself. Everyone's been saying, gosh, you know, Rachel Reeves is very quiet, isn't she? But so is David Lammy. Then we find out why. As all the chaos was unfolding, Lammy was apparently just having lunch on the sun terrace in the Houses of Parliament. I mean, to be fair to David Lammy, he's got absolutely no idea what's going on, does he? Look, now I'm not saying things are bad for Keir Starmer, but Paul Gascoigne's just turned up to Downing Street with a fishing rod and some chicken nuggets, saying he can help sort this whole mess out. And then this happened. Chuka Umunna walked into Downing Street. Yes, do you remember him? The same Chuka Umunna who was a Labour MP, then he joined the Lib Dems, he set up, what was it called? Was it Change UK? Then he lost his seat. I mean, this is a sign of how utterly desperate the PM really is. If Chuka Umunna is the answer, what the heck is the question? But then there was a ray of hope for the Prime Minister. 100 Labour MPs apparently signed a letter saying that they backed the PM. Slight problem, though. None of them wanted to be named. Now, look, nothing screams full frontal support like anonymously signing a letter, does it? Then one of them did stick his head above the parapet. Yes, here he is.
He has a mandate to serve for 4 years, and I just think it is completely destabilising for people to be sending in letters asking for him to stand down. They're not even going through the appropriate process to cause a leadership election. If you want to change the leader of the Labour Party, you need to announce that you're a candidate and get 81 people to nominate you, and then we can have a leadership election. But actually, I'm sceptical that there's anyone out there with 81. I think that's why we're getting this kind of drip, 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 which is damaging, and it needs to end.
You've almost got to feel sorry for Keir Starmer. Everything he's ever said or done comes back to haunt him. Here he is on his first day in Parliament, sitting alongside Wes Streeting, the bloke who reportedly wants to replace him, and Catherine West, the woman who said she was going to run for leader to get him out of Downing Street a couple of days ago. Then there's this tweet here for you as well. Keir Starmer, why I have decided to back Andy Burnham for Labour leadership. Oh, my gosh, that was apparently 2015. The irony. Then there's this tweet from the start of the year. There you go. This is the year that Britain turns the corner. Gosh. Here's the corner they were talking about. Tomorrow, King Charles is supposed to be delivering the King's speech in Parliament. And just to add to the comedy circus we've seen today, this happened.
Politico are reporting that Buckingham Palace privately asked whether the King should proceed as planned with the King's speech scheduled for late tomorrow morning. We've seen the practising going on. The roads around Westminster are all closed. Says people familiar say the King's team made clear the importance of protecting the monarch from any impression that he is being used for political ends.
Things have got so bad, the King's representative has been on the blower. Hi, Keir. Just wanted to check we're still on for tomorrow. It's just, looks like you might not have a job. I mean, this is even more hilarious considering that Keir Starmer used to want to abolish the monarchy.
I often used to propose the abolition of the monarchy.
Bet he wishes he had now. But it wasn't just a total clown show in Downing Street today. Have a look at how Sky News got on.
James, would you, James? Should we go and get James Murray? Yeah. Sorry, I'm tethered.
Challenge the Prime Minister. No, there was nothing like that at the Cabinet. We were busy getting on with the job. What's your message?
Thank you, don't worry. Bridget, what's your message to those who would want Keir Starmer to...
Or an option. All these people...
Chuka Umunna, are you going to be Prime Minister? Did you get an answer?
And the reporting wasn't any better on the BBC.
I think the most significant thing we've heard is Peter Kyle, the business secretary backing the Prime Minister. He's Wes Streeting's best friend in politics. They went and saw The Devil Wears Prada 2 together at the weekend.
They went and saw Devil Wears Prada 2 together at the weekend. Great stuff. Keir Starmer, yet again, showing the level of denial that he's in, turned up today to an event with a load of apprentices. You see him on the screen. I think there you are. Hello, lads. Does anyone know if I can have a job? My dad was a toolmaker. I might come in handy. Oh, wait, hang on a minute. David Lammy finished his lunch at about 5:45 p.m. and emerged on Downing Street to say this.
He has my full support, and what I'd say to colleagues is, look, let's just step back, take a breath. Let's remember that we have the King's Speech. We are in government to do a job of work. It's been 24 hours now, and nobody has come forward to put themselves forward in the processes that exist in the party.
What you didn't see there was David Lammy walking into number 14 Downing Street, where he thought the Prime Minister lives. What happens next? Oh, yes, apparently Shabana Mahmood then said she won't be resigning, she's cracking on with the job. And then have a look at this. Those anonymous Labour MPs who said they supported Starmer have named themselves. Slight problem, there's only 111 of them, and since this list came out, some of them said that they didn't know they were on it, which means that presumably around 292 Labour MPs don't back the Prime Minister. Then today we got the latest polling data. Reform posted its largest ever lead in the opinion polls. And now 70%, yes, 70% of the British public disapprove of this Labour government. And then just a couple of hours ago, the news broke that Wes Streeting is going to hold emergency talks with Keir Starmer in Downing Street tomorrow morning. According to The Times, he's going to ask the Prime Minister how he plans to get us out of this mess, partially created, of course, by Wes Streeting. And there was still time for one more twist in the tale. Just minutes before I came on air, breaking news from The Times. Ed Miliband has told Cabinet Ministers that he's prepared to run for the Labour leadership if Wes does. Now, the claim was denied by Miliband, but two senior government sources have said that it's true. How much longer can Keir Starmer cling on? How long is it before Downing Street looks like this? Starmer barricading himself in with Lord Hermer. Both of them just sitting in the dark, talking about the good old days, representing jihadis in human rights cases. Look, I'm joking here, because if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. But come on, this total shambles demeans our great country. Someone needs to put an end to this now. Let's get thoughts of my panel on this now. Tory MP Esther McVeigh, Reform UK's Russell Quirk and commentator Kai Wilshaw. Right, Esther, this is, I think, probably in a contested field, the most just disgraceful, chaotic day we've ever seen.
Do you know what? It's like a really bad B-rate movie. They don't know the lines, they've got duff actors, the words don't sync with the mouth, they don't know where we're going. In fact, I've just had a text from a friend of mine in the States saying, bye, Starmer, which also says we're being ridiculed around the world. And when anybody comes out of the cabinet to say something, it's like they're all robots. They've been told a sentence they've got to memorise. They have not followed the process. Take a deep breath. We've got the King's Speech tomorrow. It is embarrassing. They're shallow. It's tinny. And I don't think they know what they're doing from moment to moment.
Can I just venture something slightly different? I know we don't know each other that well yet, but you're not going to like this very much. Is this any different or any worse than the debacles that we saw over Theresa May and Boris Johnson clinging on by his fingernails? Rishi Sunak outside in the pouring rain, you know, embarrassing himself in terms of...
I did explain a little bit earlier, didn't I? One, Theresa May was the biggest ever Brexit... No, hang on.
They clung on for dear life without going when they should.
No. You looked at Boris. It started in May and he'd gone by July, so it was, about 2 months. Theresa May, yes, was 5, but she was doing a whole Brexit negotiation and she didn't have a majority. I don't think so. And then, unfortunately for me, Rishi, I think, took the election too early. Now, this man has been clinging on since he got there and he has caused all of his mistakes.
I'm not sure, Kai, that we've ever actually genuinely seen a circus quite like what we've seen today.
I disagree. No, and Esther, come on. How many transport secretaries in 14 years?
There's been 11
sorry, hang on a minute. What happened to your first transport secretary?
There's still one Prime Minister, there's still one Chancellor, right? And I know it
Yours have all been done for sleaze, so I wouldn't start with the Transport Minister. I wouldn't go with the fake CVs. I wouldn't go with your corruption minister that got done for corruption, or your homeless minister who got done for ejecting her tenants. So I wouldn't talk about any of your ministers.
Look, but to the question of whether this day, have we seen anything like it, I agree with Russell. Haven't we had the politics like this for many, many years?
But they promised to clean it up. The whole point of Keir Starmer was that he was whiter than white. And by the way, look, we keep hearing, don't we, all of these resignation letters, or a lot of them anyway, they go along with, like, I know you're a good and decent man. Do we? Do we know he's a good and decent man?
Well, if he was decent, he'd resign for the sake of the country, wouldn't he? I mean, clearly he can see that this is, as you've said, damaging the country in terms of international confidence, gilt yields, the stock market. I mean, how is this good for the country in terms of its financial and market health?
Really, Keir Starmer, it's been like a death by 1,000 cuts, hasn't it? Yeah. He hurt businesses, he hurt the farmers, he's destroyed schools, unemployment's gone through the roof. Everything that he's done is either you turned on or it's gone wrong. So I think there is a massive difference. And he came in with 170-plus majority. They all thought if we just got the Tories out, everything would be fine. We're fine, we're good people, or we're nice people, and they're not. They're hopeless. They didn't know what they're doing. They're a bunch of incompetents, and they couldn't run a well-stocked...
I think the buck has to stop with Keir Starmer on this, doesn't it? And I think what's annoying, in a way, about the Labour Party process compared to the sending letters into the 1922 is that could at least happen to some semblance of behind closed doors. It's a bit more of an organised process that doesn't need to have the public all thinking, oh, my God, another MP's gone and put their name out, every MP wanting to put out statements. It creates this chaos, doesn't it? And what you would want, and what I wanted to see, is Keir Starmer saying, OK, lots of MPs are saying to their whips, look, it's time to go, that's what we think, and the Cabinet can talk to him, and that he goes of his own accord. And I'm really disappointed. I don't think any Labour MPs want for this to be the way that it happens.
Just ask, let's deal with just the practical realities of this, Russell. So, look, roughly about 92 of his own MPs, 4 ministers and however many PPSs, have now said that he should go. That letter that they put out, the signatories to that letter of confidence in the Prime Minister, several of them are coming out this evening and saying, I didn't know I was on this letter, I don't want to be on this letter.
Well, and also no big dogs. No big dogs have gone.
But even if he technically survives this, how can he carry on as Prime Minister?
Well, he can't, because he's in a vacuum of his own making, isn't he? I mean, so how can he carry on unless he is that... And I have to say, I know you've had a psychologist on this evening. Yes. I mean, that deluded that... I mean, look, maybe he's got something quite wrong with it. Can I just ask one question, though, of course? When everything was going on with the Conservatives over many, many years in terms of the revolving door of Downing Street, we all lost count of how many Prime Ministers there were under the Conservatives.
Why did we have
Labour,
we can name them.
Yeah, Labour were calling for a general election every single time. You heard it every single time.
Well,
Theresa May.
General election. Nigel Farage when people change parties.
Shouldn't there kind of now be a general election now?
No, I don't think so, because I think all the leadership candidates that, as far as we know, are probably going to stick broadly to the manifesto.
No, but how this could all go horribly wrong is if, one, he doesn't get his King's speech through next week. This could be why Andy Burnham's down here trying to get enough people to vote against it. Then that doesn't necessarily be a vote of no confidence. Historically, it could have. But somebody could then prompt a vote of no confidence. So I think there's a dangerous time ahead, and you could go to a general election, or Keir Starmer could say, it's the public who voted me in, it's the public who's going to vote me out. I'm not going to have any of you ministers. I'll go to a general election.
Sorry, could you just explain that? So the King's speech tomorrow, they get a vote on this in Parliament?
Yes, and that will be next week. So we have days of debating the speech, and next Wednesday there will be a vote. Historically, it's been viewed as a vote of confidence in a way, a bit like a budget is. If you can't get certain things through, it's known as a vote of confidence. Now, it wouldn't be, but what I meant is if he doesn't get it through, because there's arguments either way if it is or it isn't, but you could prompt a vote of no confidence from that. And what I'm saying is lots of these other contenders now could be planning and working on that.
Do we think
that could be what Wes says tomorrow.
This is why Wes has stepped back, because, of course, you're not going to get Keir Starmer to resign tomorrow because of the King's speech itself. They're simply going to wait for that vote of no confidence. They could do that, and this is what he could... They all could be getting the numbers forward, and he might say, I've got them, we could do this, and then that will trigger... Out of respect to the monarch.
Now, this is why the monarch will have come forward and say, it isn't for me to decide what's going to happen. It's not for me to say the Prime Minister isn't right or another leader can come
Buckingham
forward.
Palace rings again in the morning. Are you definitely sure we're on?
Sure. It's a long drive.
Don't leave me in it.
Well, look, that is a fascinating prospect, isn't it? What a messy world politics really is. Who'd want to be in it? But anyway, I've got all of tomorrow's... Yeah, I know. I've got all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. We've got The Guardian for you now. This is tomorrow's Guardian. Starmer sees off threat for now as Streeting challenge fails to emerge. Plus, GBNews presenter Bev Turner, she's spoken to President Trump on the phone, and apparently he's given some advice to Keir Starmer. But before that, Andy Burnham, he was, you know, part of the big noise today, wasn't he? Made a surprise trip down to the capital, down to the big smoke. Andy packed his bags, got on a train, I'm going to Euston. And, yeah, he's got no seat in the House of Commons, but how likely is he to mount a leadership challenge? Now, I'm going to have someone who's in the know telling you that next.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as
and now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christys tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. So, as the Prime Minister is facing these calls to step down, one of the big noise today was the so-called King of the North, Andy Burnham, who made a surprise trip to London. The Greater Manchester Mayor reportedly held secret meetings with Labour MPs today, and apparently they were backing his leadership ambitions. But there's one problem. To challenge Keir Starmer for the Labour leadership, Burnham would first need a seat in Parliament, and at the moment, there are no Labour MPs willing to stand aside for him.
I would be delighted if a seat could be identified for Andy Burnham to stand in a by-election.
He needs a safe seat. Would you give up your seat for him?
No.
There you go. So joining me now is former Labour MP Graham Jones. Graham, thank you very much. Really great to see you. Right, OK, so you want Andy Burnham, do you?
Yeah, I do. I supported him last time, and I just think he's an all-round nice guy, and I think he's the sort of person that probably stands head and shoulders above other politicians.
OK, right. So what do we know about what happened today, then? He got the train down to the Big Smoke, and then he met with some Labour MPs. Go on, what's the noise?
Well, I don't really know a lot. I know a few people on the fringes, but I mean, I just think Andy is just trying to be, you know, the best he can for the Labour Party. I don't think he's doing anything else. He's come down, he's the Mayor of Manchester, he meets his Manchester MPs, he's deeply concerned about the Labour Party and its future, and it's up to Andy about, you know, what decisions he takes and how he moves forward. I mean, it seems like he's got ambition, and there's nothing wrong with ambition. You know, we should celebrate that. But he's not going about it in the wrong way, as far as I'm concerned.
Would you have stood down for him, though? Because that's the issue, isn't it? No one wants to stand down for him.
Well, I would, yeah. Actually, I would have stood down for him. I don't think he'd want to stand in Hyndburn. It's a marginal seat, and particularly in the current circumstances, it will go reform by quite a margin, even with Andy standing. But yes, in principle, I would stand aside for Andy. I think he's just a genuine guy, and you know, if he is leader of the Labour Party at some point in the future, I think I'd be quite pleased with that.
All right, and this has been a long time coming with Andy Burnham versus Keir Starmer. I mean, of course, the added kind of, well, comedy to this in a way is that Keir Starmer backed Burnham for the Labour leadership in 2015. But this is actually Andy Burnham really kind of slagging off Keir Starmer at Labour conference. We've got a clip of it.
I think sometimes we all...
I think we've got sorry, Graham. I just want to play... Oh, sorry, I just want to play this clip. I think we've got it here of Andy Burnham at Labour conference.
I think I am worried about, and I think we do need to debate at this conference, in my view, is how can you have an open debate about all of those things if there's too much of a climate of fear within our party and the way the party is being run?
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. I mean, some would accuse him of massive disloyalty and really, like, hugely undermining the democratically elected Prime Minister who won a landslide of the last election. Great.
No, listen, we want politicians who are honest and open. I don't think anything he said was unreasonable or wrong in what he said. You know, if we're going to sanitise all politicians, then I just think it would be a sad world. I think he's been honest. You probably agree with him yourself, Patrick, in what he said. And, you know, why shouldn't he say it? And why shouldn't he be honest? It wasn't offensive. So, yeah, no, good on him. Speak your mind, speak the truth. You know, stand true to your values and stand up and stand tall. You won't make any progress in politics if you don't show political courage.
All right, fair enough. Graham, look, always a pleasure, mate. Genuinely, I mean that. Thank you very much for coming on, and you take care.
Thanks a lot.
All the best, mate. Graham Jones there, former Labour MP. Right, OK, look, coming up, I want to get to this because it's all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages, and there are going to be some absolute corkers on there. The Guardian's front page, Starmer sees off the threat for now as Wes Streeting challenge fails to emerge. But I'm going to be playing you a snippet, actually, of our very own Bev Turner. She had a phone call with President Trump earlier today, and he has apparently told Keir Starmer what he needs to do to turn it round. So we've got all of that and more.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
A few showers are possible in Madeira and the Canaries over the next couple of days. Some wet weather affecting southern parts of Italy. Plenty of sunshine for Greece and Turkey through the rest of this week. Some warmth here as well. There's that showery rain across southern Italy, still lingering into Thursday too. The odd shower drifting south towards the Balearics. Most of southern Spain dry and sunny. And as I mentioned, the chance of 1 or 2 showers in Madeira on Wednesday. And we'll see more showers, I think, arriving in Croatia for Friday and the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Lots of showers to come as we go through the next 24 hours and a bit of thunder and some strong gusty winds perhaps towards the west as well. Currently there is a front that's making its way southwards across the country. It's brought a bit of cloud, a bit of rain, but also cooler, fresher air across the bulk of the country. And so as a result, we start the night across England and Wales with clear skies, so it's going to turn quite chilly. But as the showers in the north become more widespread, we see the winds picking up a little bit. We're actually going to see temperatures lifting a little bit. So first thing tomorrow morning, for many, it's not going to be quite as chilly as it has been through some recent starts. Nonetheless, in some places, it could be a bit fresh, a bit cool, for example, across some parts of Scotland. temperatures may drop low enough for a touch of frost. But the big talking point will be the fact that there are going to be so many showers around. Plenty of blustery showers towards the northwest, frequent showers across many other places, some of them falling as sleet or snow over higher ground. Showers across parts of Northern Ireland, much of England and Wales. Some of them will be heavy, some of them could turn thundery as we go through the day, especially towards eastern parts. And whilst there will be some drier, even brighter weather in between, sunshine is going to be pretty limited. Now, as we go through the day, we are going to see winds strengthening, particularly down the western side of the country. So watch out for some blustery conditions here, also around parts of the southwest. And those blustery winds will make it feel cool at times, especially seeing that temperatures are down a few degrees compared to today for many of us. More showery weather to come as we go through the next few days. So Thursday's also looking quite showery. Perhaps inland areas seeing fewer showers, but many coastal parts towards the west are seeing plenty of them, and the showers becoming a bit more widespread really as we go through the day. Friday may be a drier day for many of us, and we stick with that drier theme at least to the start of the weekend, and temperatures should rise a bit as well.
From cold mornings
to warm family brunches.
From football to tennis in the car.
In the kitchen.
GB News Breakfast is there. With the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
We're here again.
To start your day just right. GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. Let me get you the first look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages. Hold on to your hats, everybody. The I paper. Put up or shut up, Starmer tells his cabinet rebels. Yeah, but then he didn't let them talk, right? So there is that, isn't there? The Independent. Starmer faces down cabinet and clings on. The Metro. Number 10 Downing Street. Nice. See what they did there? Very good. Chortle, chortle. The Guardian. Starmer sees off threat for now as Streeting challenge fails to emerge. But we think we've got a theory on this, don't we? They're going to wait for the King's speech, maybe vote it down, and then, of course, no individual has been the one to wield the knife, and then he's got to go. The Daily Express, for the good of your country, go now. And a picture of Starmer walking out of Downing Street. I'll have some more front pages for you shortly, but I want to go straight away to GB News presenter Bev Turner, who today spoke over the phone with President Trump. And he's got some words for Keir Starmer, I think, Bev. What's happened?
That's right, Patrick. I don't know about you, but I've been dying to know what President Trump makes of the situation in Westminster. And actually, unusually for him, he hasn't got involved in this conversation. I know he doesn't always wade into domestic politics, but you would think on this occasion he might have said something. It's pretty busy in this town. He's gone on Air Force One today over to China for a few days of meetings over there. But before he jumped on Air Force One, I saw my phone on the side of the worktop at home. I would just put some eggs in a pan to make myself a bit of lunch, and I thought, I'll just try him and see if he picks up. Everybody always says you have to ring the president late at night. I'm on the telly late at night. I can't ring him. And then I don't like to ring a man who's nearly 80, sometime around midnight, which I know you meant to do. So I thought, well, I'll try him kind of mid-morning. So I just rang him, and he picked up after one ring, just said hello. And I said, it's Bev Turner from GB News. I'm so sorry to disturb you. Can I ask you a quick question? And he said, yeah, I don't have much time, but go ahead. What do you need to know? And I just basically said to him, why did he think the Prime Minister had lost the support of the country over in the UK? And I will tell you word for word his response. He said his two biggest problems are energy and immigration. He said those are his two big issues. He should open up the North Sea immediately and get your energy running the right way, and he's got to stop illegal migration. And President Trump has been very consistent on that messaging to the Prime Minister ever since he's been elected, making it really clear that lower fuel prices would help businesses, would help people, and that he thinks we shouldn't be importing so much of our energy, we should be generating it ourselves. And of course, on illegal migration, Patrick, he's done the most remarkable job here in America. There were millions of people crossing that southern border, and he's taken that down to zero. So on that topic, he very much knows what he's talking about. So yeah, it was a very quick chat. My boiled eggs weren't even finished by the time I got off the phone, but it's nice to know that he would talk to us and tell us his thoughts on his advice for Starmer.
Well, Bev, it is quite the scoop, especially considering that what we've seen so far from Starmer is actually a pivot to the left, and we'll wait and see what we get from this King's speech. But, you know, you've got to think if he actually adhered to President Trump's advice there, that he might do better off. I mean, do you think there's any chance that he's going to adhere to it?
No, none whatsoever. I mean, who knows if he'll still be there in power, Patrick, in the next couple of days. Of course, Trump, as I say, has got on a plane to China now, so he's there until the weekend. That means there will be lots of journalists with lots of microphones under his face. Unfortunately, on this occasion, I won't be one of them, but there are some British journalists who are going to be over in China. So if we have any seismic movement in the UK, if Starmer does decide to step aside by the weekend, somebody will be there, hopefully from the British contingent, and we will find out off the bat what President Trump thinks about it. More of this, of course, on The Late Show Live tonight at midnight. I'm going to be leaving the White House now on this beautiful evening. I don't know whether you can hear all the sirens. I'm sorry if you can hear. It's just wall-to-wall sirens at the moment because it's National Police Week here in DC. It's very American. Lots of police officers on motorbikes, basically just ragging it up and down the roads with their sirens on. It's the most American thing you've ever seen.
You've got to contrast that to some of the police officers that we saw doing the Macarena at a gay pride event. So, you know, different countries, isn't it? But anyway, Bev, thank you very much. Bev Turner there, GBNews presenter live from midnight. Right, Kai, on that then. So, big scoop from Bev Turner. Spoke to the President of the US, and he said that Starmer's got to drill, baby, drill in the North Sea if he wants to save his premiership.
What's wrong with the Macarena? That's my question. No, look, well, I think there's inklings of that already amongst the Labour Party. You know, lots of MPs, including apparently privately Rachel Reeves, have said, look, we need to get to an accommodation on the North Sea. Henry Tufnell, MP for Pembrokeshire, had come out with a big splash in the Sun on that. And then on immigration, sorry to say it, but it's starting to look like things are improving, isn't it?
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I really do.
What, small boat
It's part of a mood.
Yeah. It's all great. It's all fine.
OK. Oh, all right, fair enough. Well, let's just remind ourselves of the papers and have a quick chat with one of them. Might as well bring up The Independent, I think. Starmer faces down Cabinet and clings on. More than 100 Labour MPs back the PM, although that's kind of unravelled a little bit in the time previously. Angela Rayner said she'll launch a leadership bid if Burnham can't. We've kind of glossed over that so far today. Esther, what do you make of that? Angela Rayner saying today that she will launch a leadership bid if Burnham can't.
I think it's in dreams. She absolutely can't. While she's ever got that bad whiff of that HMRC case looming over, and deeper than that, actually, the trust and how it was set up for her son, I don't really think she can come back to a major position in power. No, I think she's trying to inflate her importance to hopefully be a key player maybe in somebody else's government. I think that's what she's doing. She's championing Andy Burnham to try and bring him back to look like she is, as I said, sort of the new John Prescott. But really, I think it's all been desperately sad. I think she has proved herself to be a bit of a poor player and a sad player, and she's sort of whipping up problems from behind the scenes. I think that's what she's turned into now, a big stirrer.
What we're saying here, after a landslide victory in 2024 and 400-plus Labour MPs, they've really got nobody of any quality at all that the Parliamentary Labour Party wants to replace the hapless Keir Starmer. That's what we're saying.
To be fair, the reason I'll back that up...
Would you support Emily Band?
But the reason they brought in Mandelson was because they didn't think they had anybody who could have done the American job. The reason they brought back Gordon Brown and Harriet Harman is because they think they need somebody to help with finances and the other ones to help with women and girls. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Look, I agree that I think it's a real indictment on, I think, Keir Starmer's judgment, that he always reaches back to somebody he knows, something that he knows.
Cronyism.
I like them.
From 1997.
Rather than looking for the new talent. The new talent is there. But to the point, look, those 400 MPs, many of them are new MPs. You can't be promoting them to, they should
Tony
be
Blair had never been in cabinet.
They should be a cabinet.
It is interesting because that is something that a lot of people are saying online, which is that you've got this situation now in the Labour Party where Keir Starmer's an absolute dud and people don't like him, and then you're looking around and thinking, well, actually, there's no one person that 81 of the Labour MPs actually want as their next leader. He doesn't even think he can really change the cabinet. So you've got this shows this is what happens. I'm sorry, but this is what happens when you basically do your selection list from a load of charity workers and students.
And
we end up here.
And people that have never had a proper job, never run a business.
And I also think he was so weak and he gave in to everybody. You've actually built up a problem on your backbenchers that if they say this is what we're doing, you know the leader's going to collapse. So he has created a rabble and brought out all the divisions within his party.
Well, just on that, Kai, because obviously Ed Miliband's apparently the noise is that if Streeting runs, go on then, I'll give it a go. But he would be opposed to what President Trump has said there. I mean, President Trump seems to be saying that the North Sea is the answer. You don't agree with that, do you?
I don't think it is the answer, but I think it's part of the answer, to have it in the mix. But it's not a silver bullet. We're looking for silver bullets for growth here. It doesn't exist.
That would probably be...
It doesn't exist.
That would be the biggest single silver bullet if there ever was.
Well, it's a bigger one.
Prices and immigration.
No, there's a bigger silver bullet.
He's going to say
silver bullet. No,
he's going to say the EU.
No, I'm not. I'm going to say lowering taxes.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But you need money in. You can't just lower taxes. You need to have money in.
You can lower taxes. Thatcher did it, and the tax revenues went
up.
Thatcher didn't do it straight away. You're wrong.
Well, he's had 2 years.
OK, coming up, we have now got the Daily Telegraph's front page, and what's breaking on the front of tomorrow's Telegraph is this: Streeting to confront Starmer. Come on, let's find out what Wes Streeting's going to say to Keir when he finally has that meeting tomorrow morning. As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christys tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I'm Michael Portillo. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
I think it's true to say that probably more books have been written about Queen Elizabeth II than any other royal, probably more books than any other woman. And I think Hugo Vickers' latest book, 600 pages, which give us a very personal insight into her life. What is there left for Anna Key to tell us, do you think?
Well, I know it's true, but she's going to have the key to the archives. She's going to be able to go through personal letters and thousands of documents that none of us have been able to see. I mean, I know our esteemed colleague Robert Hardman, as well as Hugo, have had some access. And you would think, actually, I thought Robert's was the most authoritative biography there could be, but he didn't have complete access in the way that Anna will. I mean, I don't really envy her the job. I don't know if you do, but it's going to take years, isn't it?
It is. I mean, do we know, did the Queen keep a diary, rather like Queen Victoria did? But most of her papers were destroyed, weren't they? So, I mean, is there going to be a very personal record from the Queen herself that she'll have access to?
I suspect that she will remain in death almost as much of an enigma as she did in life. I understand she did keep a diary, I think pretty religiously, I think most days. But the word is that it was pretty anodyne. It was, you know, I met so-and-so, I did this, not her personal feelings about, I know, meeting President Trump or whatever. So I don't know if we're going to get any great insights. But there will be personal stuff and there will be fascination. I mean, she was just there, wasn't she, for all of us through all of our lives. And if there are any secrets, then we will want to know about them. And I'm sure Anna Key will find them.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, get a load of these front pages. The Daily Telegraph streeting to confront Starmer, and I've got some detail for you on what he's going to say, and I'll tell you that next. But The Sun, crisis? What crisis? Keir Starmer gives a big thumbs up as everything burns around him. The Times, Starmer and Streeting set for number 10 showdown. All eyes on Downing Street tomorrow morning. The Mirror, standoff. There you go. They've gone for that. A picture of Streeting, Rayner and the Prime Minister. Right, some detail. Let's go for the Daily Telegraph. Some detail for you on apparently what Wes Streeting's going to say to Starmer tomorrow, just hours before the King's speech. He's expected to discuss the turbulence gripping the party. He wants answers on how the Prime Minister intends to get out of this mess. And apparently it's not clear whether Streeting will formally call for Starmer to set out a timeline for departure. However, one ally of Wes Streeting's has said he was prepared to resign and prompt a leadership contest if Starmer's premiership reached the point of no return. So, Esther, I've got a theory here. He's going to go in, he's going to say, what are you going to do to get us out of this mess? He's not going to be content with what he hears. He's going to hear the King's speech. He's not going to be content with the King's speech, and he's going to sail up.
I don't think so. I don't think Wes Streeting has got the courage, the boldness to do that on the day of the King's speech. It will humiliate the monarch.
But it's about the vote, though, isn't it, afterwards?
Well, maybe later on. But I can't see anyone doing that, particularly if you want to be Prime Minister, because you're then going to have to go and see the King on a regular basis if you become Prime Minister.
Using the King as a political football
as cover.
Or as Keir Starmer. To shore up his own position.
He's someone, yeah. Seriously, are we in this ridiculous situation? Again, Keir Starmer used to want to abolish the monarchy. He also didn't like Trump's war in Iran, and now he's used both of those things as cover today.
Yeah. I mean, look, I really wouldn't count Wes Streeting out. I know that from this morning to now, we've gone from saying, right, it's going to happen, to saying, oh, no, he's chickened it. Come on.
All right.
Give the man some breathing space. And I reckon, I mean, if he shows the skills that everybody talks about, those communication skills, if he manages to win an argument, to make an argument over the next few days or whatever it is, I reckon he's got the...
Look, you've been in and around this kind of situation before. What happens at this meeting tomorrow with Streeting and Starmer?
Well, we have a very different way in removing a leader. Ours is much more thought through, it's much more clinical, it's much more business-like, and we've thought of a process. The Labour Party haven't, and they argue, actually, it's the members who put me there, so I'm not really bothered about what the MPs have to do, which is what Corbyn did and how he then fended off and remained there. No, it isn't. It is a parliamentary system. You have to have the MPs behind you. I think they've been weak, the Labour MPs, for a very long period of time. It shouldn't have actually got to here. They knew it was bad ages ago. They could have tried to have done something and salvaged something from the local elections, but they left it drift on, and they've let it drift on to here. And in a way, Starmer is now slightly stronger than he was because he has stared them down. They've all proved weak. Like I said, I think he's like unbelievable ego, and they've been weak, and he's really shown them up to be that. It does sort of worry me that any of those people could be potential leaders. If they can't see off Starmer, they're never going to do anything with Putin. They're never going to do anything with President Xi. They're weak. So he's actually in a stronger position, but I think it's that vote next Wednesday on this speech and what that triggers. And I think between Andy Burnham, between Ed Miliband, I think that's what they'll be trying to do now, find their agitation, find their groups and do it that way, because they're cowards. And as you said, a group vote rather than them individually doing anything. But they've got their own party into a right mess.
They've got the country into a right mess, yeah. I mean, actually...
country and party.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've actually shown the Daily Mail front page yet, but we will in the next section. But they are... The Daily Mail tomorrow is going off on basically the angle that, like, whilst they're all messing around and dithering and dallying and engaging in their own psychodrama, you know, there is a country out here, people struggling to pay bills, people struggling to find work, people losing jobs, there's the immigration crisis, there's everything going on, and nothing is getting done. And this is a massive, massive issue that we're seeing at the moment in the country. But we do have another hour. here, everybody.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen in the next
And it
hour.
probably will.
And it probably will, the way that the day's gone. Look, there's obviously all of these front pages to kind of get sifting through, really, and to see what different angles there are kind of in the weeds of these front pages. Any more on what Streeting's going to say? Is the Prime Minister shamelessly using the King as cover for tomorrow? What's Miliband really going to do? Is he actually going to go flying out the traps tomorrow and say, you know what, I think I can do it?
We could be setting up a constituent sort of crisis here, what we're doing. I really do think that.
But it's also
Well,
interesting.
there we go. We've got to go. All of your front pages in even more detail next.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Lots of showers to come as we go through the next 24 hours, and a bit of thunder and some strong gusty winds perhaps towards the west as well. Currently there is a front that's making its way southwards across the country. It's brought a bit of cloud, a bit of rain, but also cooler, fresher air across the bulk of the country. And so as a result, we start the night across England and Wales with clear skies, so it's going to turn quite chilly. But as the showers in the north become more widespread, we see the winds picking up a little bit. We're actually going to see temperatures lifting a little bit. So first thing tomorrow morning, for many, it's not going to be quite as chilly as it has been through some recent starts. Nonetheless, in some places it could be a bit fresh, a bit cool. For example, across some parts of Scotland, temperatures may drop low enough for a touch of frost. But the big talking point will be the fact that there are going to be so many showers around. Plenty of blustery showers towards the northwest, frequent showers across many other places, some of them falling as sleet or snow over higher ground. Showers across parts of Northern Ireland, much of England and Wales. Some of them will be heavy, some of them could turn thundery as we go through the day, especially towards eastern parts. And whilst there will be some drier, even brighter weather in between, sunshine is going to be pretty limited. Now, as we go through the day, we are going to see winds strengthening, particularly down the western side of the country. So watch out for some blustery conditions here, also around parts of the southwest. And those blustery winds will make it feel cool at times, especially seeing that temperatures are down a few degrees compared to today for many of us. More showery weather to come as we go through the next few days. So Thursday's also looking quite showery. Perhaps inland areas seeing fewer showers, but many coastal parts towards the west are seeing plenty of them, and the showers becoming a bit more widespread really as we go through the day. Friday may be a drier day for many of us, and we stick with that drier theme at least to the start of the weekend, and temperatures should rise a bit as well.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
For the good of the country, go now. That's what the Daily Express is saying to Keir Starmer. He's got a showdown with Wes Streeting tomorrow morning, just before the King's speech as well. We're going to find out, hopefully, a bit more detail about what Wes Streeting is going to say there. Ed Miliband might run as well. Gosh, can you imagine? He's already done it before. He can resurrect the Ed Stone, can't he? But it's also going to be a good opportunity over